Hello everybody, my name is Jacob Sheshua. I'm 41 years old, married with two beautiful daughters. Beside my work as a financial advisor, I wrote in the last 4 years a book that I want to share it with you. Watching this flag, I think you know where I live. I live in Israel, but how many of you know that Israel is one of the smallest and tiny countries in the world? She is so small that we need magnifying glass in order to see her in the map of the world. What we see here is a map of the world. This is Russia, United States, Canada, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Iran. Can you guess where is Israel? She's barely seen, so we have to make zoom in. Now we are zooming at the Middle East. But still, can you find Israel? I will show you. I will try. She is between Egypt and Iraq and Syria and Saudi Arabia. She has a narrow shoreline. That's it. Only narrow shoreline. This is Israel. Oops! I just pressed on it. So maybe I will take this magnifying glass and try to look for her. Let's make another zoom in. Oh, this is Israel. She's barely seen. So small. Do you think this is the world problem of the world? Did you know that there are 370 conflicts right now all over the world? Israel was established in 1948 with the blessing of the UN. Since then, Israel is struggling to survive. She had a lot of war with her neighbors, trying to diminish her, trying to destroy her, and even declare about it. And still, each time Israel is trying to defend herself, she's been accused as doing war crimes. Her soldier being accused as killing babies, innocent women. Is it the truth, do you think?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm the former commander of British forces in Afghanistan. I served with NATO and the United Nations, commanded troops in Northern Ireland, Bosnia and Macedonia, and participated in the Gulf War. I spent considerable time in Iraq since the 2003 invasion and worked on international terrorism for the UK Government's Joint Intelligence Committee. Mr. President, based on my knowledge and experience, I can say this. During Operation Cast Lead, the Israeli Defence Forces did more to safeguard the rights of civilians in a combat zone than any other army in the history of warfare.
Did you know that the size of Israel is 0.1% from the whole Middle East? But still, Israel is in the prime time, in the media, in the newspapers, and always with bad publicity. The truth is the opposite, but the truth is barely sound because of the global campaign against Israel's right to exist.
At the University of California, Irvine campus, Muslim students shouted down Israeli ambassador to the United States, Michael Oren, 11 times. On Turkey's national television, a primetime special portrayed Israeli soldiers executing Palestinian women and children in cold blood. Former Israeli Defense Forces Chief Moshe Ya'alon canceled his trip to Spain, fearing he'd be arrested on charges of war crimes. In March, dozens of cities held Israel Apartheid Week, comparing Israel to the former apartheid state of South Africa. What's happening from the West Coast to the West Bank and around the world? When Israel was founded in 1948, its enemies outnumbered and outgunned tiny Israel on the battlefield. But now, more than 60 years later, Israel boasts the strongest military in the Middle East. No longer able to defeat Israel militarily, some say Israel's enemies have shifted to another battlefield, the worldwide court of public opinion. It's spreading the notion that Israel is so bad, so racist, and so evil, it no longer has a right to exist. It's an attempt to wipe Israel off the map, not with a nuclear bomb, but with slander, and to promulgate the idea of a world without Israel. Supporters of Israel see a very real and growing threat, a campaign often coordinated to delegitimize Israel, to undermine the very existence of the Jewish state.
No more money for Israel's crime!
You have an alliance, what many have called the Red-Green Alliance, where you have, on the one hand, the leftists, political movements, both in the United States and in Europe and throughout the Western world, joining forces very openly with Islamists, with radical Muslims, and even moderate Muslims for that matter, saying that Israel has no right to exist.
I wrote the book for the silent majority, like me, smart and simple, with a lot of illustration, a lot of caricature, in order to show, to present the truth in the way we can see it. For instance, I will talk about the negative role of the UN against Israel and the campaign he is doing and his subdive is doing against the right of Israel to exist.
There are 193 countries in the United Nations today. Of these, one has been singled out as an especially egregious offender of the organization's mandate to preserve and enhance human freedom and tolerance. Can you guess which it is? It has about 7 million citizens, of whom a fifth are Arab. The government is vibrantly democratic, its press wide open, and religious freedom fully respected. Women have equal rights and gays live openly. The answer is Israel. Here are some facts. 38% of all the resolutions of the United Nations Human Rights Council, the UN's top human rights body, that are critical of specific countries have been directed at Israel alone. The Council has a permanent agenda that governs every regular session. This agenda is composed of 10 items, one of which is always reserved for criticizing Israel. Between 2006, when the Council was created, and 2012, it published 48 reports condemning Israel. During that same period, there were 9 reports on Syria's mass killings and torture of its own citizens, 3 on Iran's genocide-threatening regime, and not one on, for example, China, which denies more than 1 billion people elementary freedoms.
What would you do if more than 10,000 missiles would be fired towards your country? Do you know how many is 10,000 missiles? Let me show you. Small example. Each page presents 500 missiles. Look how many pages did the Arabs, Hezbollah, Hamas, shoot on Israel in the last decade toward the cities, kindergartens, schools. Look how many pages we have to turn. And this is not the last. Since then we have a lot of more pages. I'm going to talk about a lot of things that nobody talking about and people thinking about it as a fact. Like the Palestinians. Who are the Palestinians? Where did they come from? Jerusalem. Who is it really belong to? Other occupied territories. What is the West Bank? Is it really called West Bank? Or the real name is Judea and Samaria? Name of Judah. How can the name of a Jew can be occupied. The book is come with a magnifying glass to show how meaningless is the place here, how small it, and how the territory problem is not the main. The main issue is religious war. Please support Israel by helping me translate this book to English and spread it all over the world. I don't have the resource for that, so that's why I need your help. Thank you very much. Jacob Sheshua.